Before we get started on this video, I just want to say with the conflict going on in Russia and Ukraine, it's very sad. I just want to say my love and support goes out to all those that are being negatively affected by this. You know, this is causing a lot of fear out there. And so the topic that we're going to talk about, really correlates with this, and that's people wanting to hoard cash. And I'm going to go over why that's not a great idea and why you should stay invested. And I'm going to be referencing an article on Warren Buffett and his support for this as well. It's something I really agree with, and I think this should be shared with everybody because there's too many people right now that are wanting to do just that. Take cash out of the market, take cash out of their bank accounts, kind of put it in their backyard and bury it kind of thing. So that's what we're going to go over. I'm very transparent on this channel, so if you're just joining me, I provide quality, opinions. I share my strategy, my portfolio performance, and a lot more. This channel's, mostly finance, but I also do fitness. It's very diverse. It's a good channel, I feel. So feel free to subscribe if you're joining today. And I appreciate all my subscribers that are viewing this and following along with me. Thank you guys so much. So this snip right here, talking of transparent, at the end of the year, I was above 23% in growth in my portfolio. Last week, I dropped down to 9% growth. But in the last couple days, I've gone up 2%. So if I would have bought into the fear and I would have sold out at that 9% low, I would already missed out on 2% growth. I think there's a lot more growth that will be made this year. And a lot of people, that have sold when the fear is high have regretted it because the market always recovers. And we're going to go over a lot of this stuff too, a lot of, data on this. And it's just really going to back up what I have to say. So we're going to analyze an article that Warren Buffett is in, and I think this is something that is so important. And this article states that Warren Buffett warned against hoarding cash, gold, or Bitcoin during conflicts and touted stocks as the safest long-term bet. So the main points in this article are going to be that he advised against swapping stocks for cash, gold, or Bitcoin during conflicts, and that he favors productive businesses over dollars, crypto, or haven assets. He even touted Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2014 as a buying opportunity for long-term investors. And that's exactly what's going on right now. This is a buying opportunity for us. And it's not one, and I'm going to put my final opinion at the end, it's not one that I think you should pour all your cash into the market, but there's some opportunities that if there's stocks that you're really wanting to buy or increase your position in, this may be the time to start doing that. So I'm going to go through this article. I'm going to read it. I won't show it on the screen, but I'll read it, and I will try to remember to leave a link to this article because it's very good. But we're going to go through, analyze it. I'm going to put up my opinions, some research that I've done on the side as well. And again, this is something I think everybody should really know because some people that I've talked about that wanted to hoard cash, after I brought up these points, they're like, you changed my mind. Thank you very much. Or at least you gave me enough information to go off of where I feel very comfortable, not doing that or maybe not, pulling out as much cash as I wanted to. And again, this is everybody that needs to take this. I'm not a professional, so take this, with a grain of salt, do your own research. But, for me, it's definitely something that I am sticking to because I really do believe this is the best thing to do right now. So starting the article, Warren Buffett has warned against dumping stocks, hoarding cash, and buying gold or Bitcoin when war breaks out, as he believes investing in businesses is the best way to build wealth over time. The billionaire investor and Berkshire Hathaway CEO told CNBC in March of 2014 that Russia's invasion of Ukraine at the time wouldn't spur him to sell any stocks. If stocks are cheaper, he says, I'll be more likely to be buying them, he said, celebrating the fact that a stock he was actively buying had dropped in price. The investor added that he wouldn't cash out even if the conflict escalated into another Cold War or World War III. So this says, a lot of fears right now are the same way. People think this is going to go much further than just between Ukraine and Russia, and people are starting to sell out. But through some research, let's take a look at that 2014 Russia-Ukraine conflict that he is talking about. So in February and March of 2014, Russia invaded parts of Ukraine. And this was widely known around the world and created a lot of fear. And during that time, Buffett stayed strong and he didn't sell. In fact, he bought. And so if we look at the stock market during that time, I kind of found this point of February 24th, did it as best as I could, but I highlighted the years after that, and what happened? The stock market went up. If you would have sold at that, early February point because your fears were high, you would have missed out on gains. You would have missed out on, getting those dividends, reinvesting them, getting that snowball effect going. And there's a history of conflicts throughout time that we will go over that shows and proves that this is the case mostly every time. Once the conflict occurs, the stock market actually makes gains and goes up. So we're going to kind of go over why, but let's go a little bit back to this article for now. All right, so he states that, well, if you tell me all of this that is going to happen, so it going beyond just a conflict between two countries, he says, I will still be buying the stock. You're going to invest your money in something over time. The one thing you could be quite sure of is if we went into some very major war, the value of money would go down. And that is precisely correct. And we have so many examples right now of the value of money going down. And so I did some more research on this and found this article with US News. And it says, from a market perspective, most geopolitical events are sharp but short-lived, with volatility creating opportunity. I think that's exactly what's going on right now. It says, in fact, since 1941, the S&P 500 has averaged a total drawdown of 5%. That is not that bad. Following 21 major geopolitical events, including the Pearl Harbor attack, the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, and the September 11th terrorist attacks. Despite the initial market volatility, the S&P 500 has taken an average of only 45 days to fully recover those initial losses, less than 2 months. So I see that as 45 days of buying opportunity. It goes on to say there, even with new growth headwinds, the U.S. economy should still grow solidly in 2022. So, there's a lot of bullishness going on that the market's going to do very well now. But there is what he was mentioning, there's a loss of value in money during times of conflict. So here it says each war corresponded with an increase in the US money supply, the loss of value in the US dollar caused by excessive expansion of the money supply, together with rising demand for raw materials from emerging economies, has led to permanently higher global commodity prices. All right, so we have a conflict going on. Prices are going up, right? Not only do we have inflation, but now we have a conflict that is affecting our oil supply. And what is that causing things to happen at the pump? We are paying, it feels like almost double what we were paying just a few short 1, 2, 3 years ago. And so, that just shows that your dollar right now isn't going to go as far as it would have before. What you could buy with $1 of gas now, you could have bought more of it before. So the value of the dollar is going down, and this is why people should not be hoarding cash, because your cash is going to be worth a heck of a lot less now than would it be if you invested in the market during these times of volatility where the market goes up. And over time, the market goes up. It always recovers. And so, with the dollar being worth less during these times of conflict, people are wanting to hoard cash, but what are they going to do when they go to the gas station to buy gas or go to the store to buy those higher, grocery prices? That money is going to those businesses. Wouldn't you rather be buying part ownership of those businesses through stocks? And those businesses are the ones that are, of course, going to increase their prices to stay on top of inflation and everything else going on. That's where I'd rather have my money, because it's going to grow. Those companies are going to make strategic decisions to make sure that they stay profitable, that their company stays growing. And so that's where I'd rather have my money, because these people aren't understanding that, yeah, you're going to be hoarding cash. Prices are going up around you. Those dollars are becoming less valuable. And you're going to be paying those dollars to these businesses anyways that you could be investing in. And so that's a big kind of light bulb that went off in my head when I was thinking of this is, people want to hoard cash, but yet they're fine paying money to these companies that they wouldn't buy stock in, but they're willing to buy their products. So To me, I rather buy the stocks. And so, those businesses are going to be offsetting inflation with raising their prices. So right there is a big point I wanted to make. So let's keep going on in this article. Buffett, who said he avoids doing business in Russia after running into problems there, emphasized that the U.S. stock market rose during World War II and has marched higher over time. Obviously, it has. American businesses are going to be worth more money. Obviously, they're going to be raising prices. They'll be worth more money. They're charging more. People are still going to buy their products. Dollars are going to be worth less, so the money won't buy you quite as much. We just went over this. Very good point. But you're going to be a lot better off owning productive assets, Buffett says, over the next 50 years than you will be owning pieces of paper, or I might throw in Bitcoin. So I wanted to make that point there. Productive assets. Bitcoin is not a productive asset. Neither is cash. They're pieces of paper. You put them down, they do nothing. Same with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's value is determined by what the market deems its value is. Where productive assets and where you buy stocks in companies, you can look at their financials. You can determine what they're worth. You can see that they're increasing profits. You can see that they're innovating, that they're expanding, that they're hiring more people. Those are productive assets. I rather put my money into productive assets than hold cash or even Bitcoin, because Bitcoin especially, that one's just more risky to me. There's so many cryptocurrencies being created constantly. With the metaverse, I think companies will be creating their own cryptocurrencies. So I just think it's a risk. I do hold a little bit of Bitcoin, very small amount, only like $250 worth, just because I wanted to get in there, but I'm still skeptical of its long-term success. It is obviously the biggest, cryptocurrency, most popular one, but if it's dictated by what the market thinks its value is, then anything can happen to it at any time. So I rather put my money into productive companies that are actively, day in and day out, improving their businesses, expanding, growing their products and things of that sort. So that's productive assets, and that's what I rather be in, and that's also what Warren Buffett advises as well. So probably the second biggest point to take away from this. All right, the last section here is called Betting on America of this article. Buffett bought his first stock at age 11. Can you imagine buying stock at age 11? In the spring of 1942, when the U.S. was suffering heavy losses from World War II. He recalled in his shareholder letter in 2018. He swapped his $115 in savings back in 1942 for 3 shares of Citi's Service, whatever that was at the time. If he'd invested that sum into a no-fee S&P 500 index fund and reinvested all the dividends, he said it would have been worth $607,000 by 2019, which is a 5,288-fold gain. So $115 to $607 just by making the decision to invest instead of stay out of the market during a time of conflict. In contrast, he said, if he had panicked and bought $115 worth of gold, which a lot of people are wanting to push people into buying right now, the value would have grown only to $4,200. So $600,000 versus $4,000. So, to me, even if he made the decision to put his money in gold, which made far less than the stock that he chose, it still would have been better than cash. Cash would have lost value over that time. At least he made $4,200. And so he goes on to say, all you had to do was figure that America was going to do well over time, that we would overcome the current difficulties. And, that's exactly, what history has shown, that, you have to look at America and its stock market over the history. It's always recovered. It's always gone up. He goes on to say, you didn't have to pick out winning stocks. You didn't have to pick out a winning time or anything of that sort. You just basically had to make one investment decision in your life. And that decision to me is to invest in either a broad market fund or diversify your portfolio with many different quality stocks. You make that decision, you're going to do well long term. Buffett reiterated his faith in America's long-term prospects during a 2020 meeting. He said, I was convinced of this in World War II. I was convinced of it during the Cuban Missile Crisis. 9/11, and the financial crisis, that nothing can basically stop America. We face tougher problems, and the American miracle, the American magic, has always prevailed, and it will do so again. And I do believe this, guys. I believe that America is so strong. You know, we have a great system here that really has proven over time. We're not perfect, of course, but we are actually, in my opinion, just such a strong force. Betting against us is probably the way to lose money instead of putting your money and betting with America. Look at all the border crossings happening. People are dying to come here. There's a lot of opportunity here, and this is where innovation happens. This is where a lot of great things has happened, and I believe it will continue to do so. Buffett acknowledged that the Civil War, the Great Depression, and COVID-19 pandemic disrupted U.S. progress, but he argued that the country always comes out ahead. Never bet against America. So, if you don't believe in America, by all means, don't invest in the stock market. But if you believe that America is going to keep growing, keep innovating, keep getting stronger and stronger, then the stock market is where you want to be, because that's what you're betting on. Like with the businesses, right? Productive assets. They're constantly, day in and day out, American businesses are growing, innovating. You look at Tesla, you look at Microsoft, you look at Apple, you look at all these successful companies. There's going to be many more that come in through our lifetime that become big and productive and create innovations that help humankind, that help, efficiency of simple things to complex things. There's a lot of things that I believe are in the pipeline that America is going to lead in, and this is going to just create an opportunity right now, whether you're younger or older, but just starting is going to create an opportunity for you to make money, whether it's a 5-year goal, a 10-year goal, a 30-year goal, or more. And so my plan during this time is not to hoard cash. As we went over, that's going to lose you money. The value goes down. Even without a conflict, inflation happens, your value of your dollar is going to be worth less tomorrow than it is today. It's just how it works. Where the stock market on average grows 10% a year, your money will outpace inflation and grow in the stock market. So my plan is to keep on buying consistently like I always have with every paycheck. Not only that, I have put aside some extra money to take advantage of any good dips. I did do so the other day when the market went down in the morning, and I bought some Facebook and 3M. There's another stock that if the market does go down still, I'm going to buy into, and I'll make a video on that because I've been researching this company a long time, but I don't want to reveal it yet unless if I buy it. So the market does not like uncertainty. Right now, it's certain that Russia and Ukraine are in a conflict. But that's not to say that Russia can't throw a curveball and create another buying opportunity, another dip in the market. So you have to be ready, but you also don't want to be fearful, and you don't want to be too greedy where you put all your money in at one time and, just as it can go up, it can go down. So I am only putting in a little bit. I'm investing regularly, but with my extra cash, I'm only putting in a little bit during the dips because I want to be able to either write it down or write it up, but I don't want to put it all in and risk it going down. So that's my strategy. That's my video here is hoarding cash isn't the thing to do. You're going to lose out on a lot of value of your money. Investing in the stock market is betting on America, so that's something that I'm willing to do. They're productive assets. Bitcoin to me is risky. It may have a big future. It may not. It's not a productive asset. It's based on what the market deems its value is, and that sentiment can change at any point. So there you have it. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Let me know if you are hearing others wanting to sell out cash. Maybe you decided, or sell out and hoard cash. Maybe you decided to do that, and you let the fear of the news and the actual events that are happening create this panic into hoarding cash. If it ever got to a point where we all had to hoard cash because the systems just went down, there'd be a bigger issue that we'd be worrying about than having cash on the side. I guarantee that. So I think that kind of trumps that whole thought process as well. Again, always save money for a rainy day. That's a must, no matter what. But above that, your dollars are going to be working for you in the market. Where if you're putting it, in your tin can in the dirt, your money's not working for you. You're working for your money at that point. You're losing value, where in the stock market, your money's working for you. And I'd rather it be that way than the opposite. So let me know what you guys think of this video. I appreciate you guys, and thank you for joining me on this journey. I appreciate all the new subscribers, and I hope if you're thinking about subscribing that you do. There's a lot of good content that I provide out, and I'm always trying to continually improve. And also, again, I just want to say my heart goes out in support to all those being affected with the Russia-Ukraine crisis, and we'll see you next time on Mark's Finance and Fitness.